Hey guys, and welcome to Awakened Aspects.
Breathe.
I thought I'd start this new channel with something that was very pertinent to our time. Considering that I started Awakened Aspects during the wake of our collective lockdown, I was very inspired to do this because it's been something I have aspired to do, but have been afraid to do for a very long time. Why the breath? I mean, it's something we do automatically. We don't even think about breathing. But what if we did? What if we did think about breathing? What would that do for us? I wrote an article about breathwork, its history, its use today in therapy settings, intensive therapy settings, as well as retreat settings, where it helps refocus, recalibrate, and dig deep into the traumas that are latent in our subconscious and unconscious minds. It's one of those types of therapy techniques that is great with a facilitator in a group setting or one-on-one with a facilitator, especially because it can bring up some very potent emotions and feelings that sometimes are hard to get through on your own. If you're someone who's really versed in this stuff and, has been through years of therapy, you may know how to integrate yourself. It's a very windy day. Perfect for breathing. Got lots of air to breathe in. That clean, fresh air. Can't get enough of it. I also did an article about the vagus nerve I'll be putting both those links on this video, underneath this video, to give you a little bit more information, a deeper kind of perspective on what a vagus nerve is. It's a nerve that connects from basically the base of our brain to our intestines and our gut. It's a powerful mega nerve that is the master nerve and contributes to that feeling of the gut instinct relating emotional health to gut health. Lots of information on that article, so check it out. Now, why am I talking about the vagus nerve when it comes to breathing? Well, so often we get so stressed out and we get our senses are very heightened, and we tend to shut down our nervous system, and we've conditioned the nervous system to try to shut down when there is a threat. So instead of being activated in a sense of fight or flight, we'll activate it to help us understand when to rest. So when we encounter a stressful situation, our body can become conditioned to relaxing rather than reacting in a state of fight or flight. Now, how can we possibly do this? Well, there's a lot of methods to do this, and there have been countless experiments with VNS, or vagus nerve simulation or stimulation, and they'll use devices that they'll actually input inside of people, or even external vagus nerve stimulation systems to help people activate that vagus nerve. It's been shown to be very effective fighting certain diseases like epilepsy or depression, anxiety. It's also shown to be activated and conditioned through meditation or breathing. That's where we're going to connect it to breath work, because I feel that breath work is a powerful activator for the vagus nerve system. I believe that when we tap into our nervous system through our breath, we can make massive changes in the way we react to stress. So again, to look for more information about breathwork, I would recommend reading the article and going through it just to get a better sense of why and how and what. Today I want to use this video as more of a tutorial. When we do breathwork, we do encounter sometimes, should I say, unnerving situations or unnerving emotions that can come up during it. We can re-encounter trauma, or we can see things that have been latent and hidden beyond our comprehension and our consciousness for a long time. Things from childhood that we didn't even know or forgot about. Even just weird fantasy type imagery coming up that can symbolize other things in our life that may be a little bit too traumatizing to actually experience as is. When we go through that, we tend to feel that heightened sense, feel that intensity of emotion, and push through it with breath work. We're so conditioned to experiencing a trauma or a stress and moving away from it, pushing it away, seeing it as detrimental to our health. This may be the exact opposite of what we should be doing. Therapists use a mode called exposure therapy, where, say, you have a biggest fear of, heights. So what they'll do is they'll make you climb to the top of a building and, deal with it and breathe through it. And they'll usually guide you through that. Or, on a plane, kind of go through certain steps and motions that they put in place to help guide you through those discomforts. And then eventually, what happens to those discomforts is they dissipate because you've allowed the fear instead of fought the fear and allowed yourself to push through that fear. So the fear is no longer that strong. So the strength of the fear itself dissipates. And this will take me to another article I wrote. Maybe if you do go on my website, you'll see Gremlins in the Dark article, and that's about shadow work and how beneficial it is for us to move into that dark place, to see what's there, and then to kind of clear those fears out so that we can live a normal life that's not in resistance to those things, because then we tend to live a more healthy whole life, knowing that there is fear and knowing it's okay and knowing how to move through it. Breathwork is a mode of healing that's currently being used quite a bit in a multitude of settings and in many different ways. And everyone seems to have some kind of trademark on their own version these days. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to do good old-fashioned holotropic breathwork invented by Stan Grof in the 70s. The technique usually starts off, of course, with a great playlist. And I've got a great playlist, and that is about an hour and a half. And even though it's about half the time of your normal holotropic breathwork sessions, I feel like it does the trick. And some of us are just not ready for a 3-hour breathing session, especially by ourselves, that's not guided by a facilitator. So this is a perfect way to get into that breathwork session on your own. This playlist is great. It starts a little bit slower, gets a little bit faster, and then ends with a beautiful song. You have to move through the playlist in order that is actually going to be able to take you through the journey. And I'm going to demonstrate. It's really helpful sometimes to use a pillow to kind of practice what the breathing is, but it's usually equal in, equal out. I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. Whatever method you're comfortable with, do it. The body knows what it needs. And that's another beautiful thing about this therapy technique, is that it is self-administered, and it does show us how powerful we are when we are in charge of our own health and we are empowered to help ourselves heal. It's a self-guided breath. I tend to like to take longer breaths out than in. And the article kind of gets into, different theories of, are we hyperoxygenating or are we under-oxygenating? Are we lowering the oxygen during this type of work? Are we heightening it? Well, I feel like the different studies have shown that it definitely balances itself out. There will be states of heightened oxygen and there will be states of very low oxygen. And you will notice those varying states through the breathwork session. And I feel like it's also very indicative of life itself, where at one point we may be breathing in more than we're breathing out. And that's sometimes in a panic or stress type situation where we're like, when we're scared, when we're relaxed, and when we're sighing. A sigh is usually a long breath out, like, and that's usually a state of release, relaxation. When we sigh, it's very therapeutic as well. We do it naturally without even thinking. because the body does know how to regulate itself. We just have to pay more attention to when that happens, and maybe start to use it consciously when we do need it and we do feel like we need it. So it has to be a constant rotational breath without stopping. That will help you get into that state of mind and awareness inside yourself. And it's a cyclical breath. Of course, it can change. Like if you're encountering music that kind of has a higher beat and you want to breathe a little bit faster, like and you do it through your mouth and not through your nose, that's okay too. You just want to watch yourself so you don't go into a state of hyperventilation and you're kind of, needing a paper bag. Again, kind of watch what your body's doing, how you're feeling, what you're maybe envisioning in your head. And of course, if it gets to that point and it's really intense and you think you need to bring it down, then you just bring it back to that slow, deep breath. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate what you can do. It's best to just lay down, lie flat on your back, maybe a pillow on your back of your head. You kind of rest in place. And you just start breathing. You just kind of breathe at the rate that's comfortable for you, even if it's not music. And when the music starts to speed up, you can start speeding up the breath. Sometimes it's a lot easier to speed up your breath with your mouth. And if that gets too intense, you can start to slow down with your breath as well. Of course, as the playlist ends, you'll probably feel naturally drawn to slowing down your breath anyway.
I release control and surrender to the flow.
Until you feel ready, you start opening your eyes and coming back. So after your breathwork session, you may like to lie down and just have your eyes open and think about what you went through, what you experienced. I personally like to journal because I like to write, and it helps me integrate my experience and my emotions, but of course it's going to be different for everyone. So whatever you feel guided to do, there's no better way to integrate your session than to do what you're called to do to help you integrate. So there is no right or wrong way of doing breathwork, and there is no right or wrong way of integrating. You just kind of have to follow your own guidance, of course, to have a moral compass, but follow your own guidance and know where you're led to next. And usually breathwork will give you that message in the actual breathwork. If you actually did the whole thing and you let yourself experience it, you will receive the message in there. It's a really great tool for receiving wisdom, messages, and inner guidance, because it's all coming from you. And after all, at the end of the day, ourselves and our inner guidance and our inner compass is what really needs to drive us, and it is the most powerful tool to help us drive our lives. So thank you for watching my video. I hope that it was informative, and I hope you enjoy your breathwork session and the playlist. Please feel free to comment below on how you're feeling about breathwork, if you've done it, your experiences with it personally, or if you try this type of breathwork with the playlist I provided, what your experience was. I'd love to know. Thank you, and I hope to see you again very soon. Stay awake, stay aware, and know the aspects back to wholeness are all within you. Hey guys, and welcome to Awakened Aspects. This is a new project of mine that I've just started in the wake of Mark.